Hello everybody. I'm going to wait a couple minutes for people to pop in here. So I'm going to do some measurements before we start. So I know where to go here. Yeah, a little bit lower. Hello. I'll just give it a couple more minutes here, or a couple more seconds until more people show up. And then we're going to start on this little guy here, one of these guys. All right. I'm going to start. The first thing I do is we're going to do this one. Now, if you remember doing our St. Patty's one, it's pretty well the same pattern. The only difference is we're going to put a little flag in his hand. I think that will be kind of cute to do. So this will be my last video for a while. I might do one a month in the summer. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. But I didn't get these done until about a half an hour ago. Painted. So you can leave it the gnome style or you can leave it this style. It's up to you. Either way works. So let me just show you. If you've done this one, you can do this one. That is not a problem. The only difference is going to be the color of the hat. His face is going to be white. And of course he's going to be holding a little flag. So I'm just going to start. If you want, I'm debating which one I really want to do. This one would be a lot easier to do for those that are beginning. Either way, it doesn't really matter to me. So, why don't we go ahead and make one of these here today. So, what I do is I always figure out where the top of the nose is for the hat. Alright, so it's the first thing I do. Then I bring it down and around. I bring it down to maybe an inch or so to either side because we're going to put his feet over here. So we're going to put his feet like so. And we're going to continue that to the back. So I'm going to measure that with my finger. And we're going to do the other side. Hi Jack and Jenny. You're going to watch me do our patriotic guide today. It's very similar to what we did with the leprechaun for St. Patty's Day. And then I look at it from the side and I bring this down and around. I know many people are busy during the summer, so this is going to be my last one for a while. I'll put everything on. Hi Jane. I wasn't able to do an event because I didn't have these things painted until a half an hour ago. I've been kind of busy here at the farm. I've been doing a lot of mulching. I did more mulching today. And it depends how my body feels. If I feel like doing some, I do some. If I'm not too sore and stiff. Okay, so that's where the feet go. We know where the hat goes because we put one line at the top. And then, hello Milton. And we do one down at the bottom. Now, like I said, it's going to be very similar to this. You can see it's almost exactly the same. The only difference you may want to do is flare the hat out a little more than up and down. Bring it in a little bit more. So, what I normally do is I put that first line in, right? So that's going to be the top. And that's about maybe a little over a ½ inch down. And we're going to cut down. You see here? We're going to cut down. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another line right above it. This will be the brim of the hat. And I hope everybody's doing well. I hear Canada is still in a lockdown. We're opening up down here. I've been actually without a mask at a couple of places today. And I felt comfortable since I'm fully vaccinated to do that. So I was very happy that things are going back to normal here. I just heard that 50% of us are fully vaccinated in the United States. And I'm eager to see some of my family again soon, if it's possible. We'll see. But anyway, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our knife, whatever knife you choose to take, and we're going to take it a little bit at an angle. See how it's going down? We're going to take this and we're going to go straight down. Just like so. Okay, we're going to just chop a little piece out right there. And there's one. We're going to do each corner on the bottom. Now this is going to be the longest part here because the hat takes a lot of cutting. It's not that quick and simple as this one. This one's a lot simpler, but I didn't really know how to paint them, so and I looked up all different types of painting that you can do on them. So I did this I finished it about a half an hour ago. That's why I didn't have an event up and running, is because I didn't have them ready. And I kept thinking, oh, today I'll do it, and I ended up doing other work. And like I said, this will be the last video for a while. I'll probably do one in the summer months, one per month. I'm going to start chopping off a little bit at the top. Now, when you do the top, you want to be very careful you don't knock this portion out. Alright, but it's important that you notch the top out as well. Take your time, take a couple extra cuts to get there, not do it all in one shot. Okay, and one at the top here. Now we're going to go down a little bit. We're not going to go straight across, we're going to go down. So let's take that down and kind of follow that line. Now this is a little more difficult because you're going inward. And so what I'm going to do is start trimming off the corner of the hat here. Do each corner a little bit, and it'll start shaping things up. And I don't have my V-tool here. Hang on just a second. I do have hot chocolate made, though. Let me see if I can find one here in my... Oh, yes, I found one. Whoops, I knocked that one over. That's not good. Hang on just a second. It's always something, people. It's always something. Now, how did I get that taller than it was? Well, it's going to have to stay like that, I guess. Alright, so I got my little V-tool, and I'm going to follow the line at the top and the bottom. Right underneath that line. Okay, one. And I'll come back. I don't know, I didn't get the other one painted yet either. And it's like my taxes. I wait for the last minute for everything. It seems just the past week. And, okay, so that's the bottom part. Let's do the top with the same thing. You're going above the line. There, okay. Try to go above the line. Alright. That's the way to do it. Okay. Now you're going to take your knife and you're going to start, and sometimes I lean it on the table when I do this because I know it's going to be kind of deep. And we're going to just file that all the way across. All the way around. This will be cut number 1. You might have to do 10 or 15 of these depending how deep that is. So I'm going to slowly cut that off. But at the same time, as I look at the top, you know, the top is kind of oval, right? So what you want to do is kind of get that oval shape that you want. Alright, so there we go. Just make it round or oval is good. And that will give you a guideline how far to go. Alright, so let me take a look at it. You could also put from the corner to corner, you can put a line across. That will help you as well. Just to help you, I'm imagining where that corner was. I just cut it off, but you know, then you'll know exactly where to go. Alright, and I've got tape all over me here because I taped this thing to the table, and now it's sticking on me here. going live sometimes is it's not the easiest thing. If you have questions, I'll try to take a look at what you're asking, and I'll try to answer those. Hello, Debbie. Thanks for joining. We're doing our little patriotic guy. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to trim up to those lines first. And that will give me a real good idea how far I can go to the top. Okay, so that's pretty good. Okay, that's as small as I want to go with that. That might be a little bit smaller than that, and it is, but it's okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chop some of this off because it slants downward. So what you want to do is just take your knife and start slicing. Do a little time or a lot of time. I suggest do a little, like potato chip size. I'm hungry for potato chips. Anyway, I have my hot chocolate with me today. Okay, so see how we're sloping that down? We're going to go down a lot further yet. It's not done. Take a look at that. Alright, and we're going to bring this down just a tiny bit yet. Clean that all off. Yep. Now, this one, that's probably far enough. If you want to take it down a little further, that's okay too. Whatever you feel comfortable with for the slant of the hat. All the hats are done the same, whether it's the leprechaun or this. It doesn't really make that much difference. Alright, so now I'm going to go to the top of the hat, and we're going to go back to rescoring it, and I'm just going to take the edge of the knife and I'm just going to slowly start popping that out. And we're going to do each side that way. And you notice I have it on the table. It's just a little easier that way. Yes, I was working on a project on Saturday that had me so frustrated trying to use this new trimmer for the big tractor, John Deere, and the belt kept coming off. And so I went and got a new belt. It still didn't work. Then something else didn't work. And then I had to get a new tire. It's supposed to be like an hour and a half worth of work. And I ended up working until almost 6 o'clock on it. And I finally thought, forget it. I'll wait for another day. And sometimes it's better to walk away. When things don't work right, it's sometimes better to just walk away from it. I find that's true in carving too. If something just isn't going right, it's just better to walk away and come back fresh another day. Alright, so that is the hat portion. I'm going to do this, well, the first thing I need to do for the front here is to mark out where the nose is going to be. So I always like a nice big nose on these guys. They always look nice and cute that way. Big noses, big eyes. If you had a real skinny little thing, it wouldn't look right. Alright, so I'm going to just notch this in the bottom of the nose for now. And you notice I'll jump all over the place. That's just the way I do my style of carving. Because then I look at it as I go and see if anything else has to, be removed. So let's go over back to the hat again. We're going to do this corner right here. Well, now I got myself hooked on some new knives, and I'll show you those. I'm not selling them. This is for my own collection, but I'll show you something that's similar to these two. And I need to sharpen them up and see how they do. But I think they'll be pretty cool. My very first knife was a rough, I don't think it was a Rough Rider knife. It was a Barlow knife is what I'm trying to think. And I really love that knife. It had a wooden handle to it, and I sharpened just the one blade because it comes with two blades. And it was the coolest little thing. And I lost it somewhere along the line of my travels. This is way, 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 way back. And I've never found it, even moving. I didn't find it. Normally when you move, you find all kinds of stuff you had in boxes and stuff. And I still didn't find it. So as you notice, I'm doing each corner, and I'm slicing out the top. I'll show you the Barlow knife I got from Rough Rider. And it's a beautiful knife, but I need to sharpen it up. I haven't had time this week. You notice I'm using the tip of the knife as much as I can. And you don't want to go, as a beginner, you try to go straight across. It's better to hold it at an angle and then push it, because that's more like a slicing motion. All right, just to show you here, let me show you right here. If I went exactly straight, I could do it, but it's better to hold it a little bit at an angle when you do it, because that way you'll be able to slice it a little bit easier. Especially if the wood's a little tough, it's good to do it that way. I know the hat takes a lot of time to do, and that is just very, very normal for this. I can just keep chopping it down until I'm happy with the shape of the hat. So now I'm going to start chopping up towards the top, from the bottom to the top. Kind of round it off a little bit. I'm glad you're happy with it, Milton. I had a lot of good responses for the knife, and you know, some people didn't realize how sharp a knife could get, and that's just a great compliment to me, that I did it right. You know, these knives, they'll last you a long time. You'll have to sharpen them up. That's like any other knife. They'll get it dull eventually, but and I'm not saying this so I can sell more wheels, because I've sold a couple hundred of them already. But the wheels, one person asked, how did I sharpen these when they get a little bit dull? Well, I take them on that little grinder I showed you several weeks ago. That is how I do it. And it keeps it really honed up nicely. It's a small setup. You don't need something really big. You can hand strop them too, but you just have to make sure you hand strop them correctly if you do. But I'd have to make more of the wheels. I just bought another 60 of them. And I just sold 1, 2, 3. I think I sold 6 in the last week or so. So they take a little while to make, because I have to glue it all together. And the wheel and the leather and all that, it has to be just right. So, oops, let's go the other way. All right, so that's kind of the hat. But I'm going to go in a little bit further, because I like it to be a little bit more. All right, let's stop with that for now. All right. So, I should have left this a little larger at the top. As you can see, this one's wider, and that's okay. You can always bring it in a little more to make that look. Now, we're going to start with the nose. So we're going to bring this down and around. Straight in. You're not going to go sideways. You're going to go straight in like you're looking at it from the front. All right. And you're just going to follow the line you made there. And then right underneath the hat, you're going to poke it right. This is going to be your deepest part, as always, is right here underneath the hat. All right, so we're going to cut that out. Okay, that's good. Let's see what we can do the other side. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them if I see them online here. Good. Now I'm going to go across the nose a little bit more. Make that just a tiny bit deeper. All right. All right, we're going to swing this down and around. All right. We're going to go a little bit more here in a second here, but I want to make sure that I don't chop too much off. There we go. All right, now we're going to go over here. We're going to slice this out a little bit more underneath the hat. Hi, Mark. I was telling everybody earlier that this will be my last video for a little while, and I will be back probably once a month during the summer. The viewership is going down because people are vacationing and going away, and I might need a little bit of a break to figure out what we're going to do next. And we'll probably start the next time. I know this will be more for the 4th of July and for Memorial Day, any patriotic holiday. And they're fairly simple to make. They're a lot of fun to make, actually. And I think I'll show you all the different ones we have, and I'll have a couple more for the holidays yet coming up as the year goes on. I'm going to roll this down a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to do the foot here. We're going to just cut it in. And we're going to chop on either side. And same thing over here. Chop it on either side. And I'm not doing it because it's less viewership. It's just because I'm busier working outside and trying to get things done here. And I love working late. I love working from like 3 until it gets dark. That's my time to work. Usually during the day it's way too hot for me. I don't like working in the mornings because as the day gets warmer it just irritates me. So I'd rather go out when it's warmer and it gets cooler later. And just the way all my jobs were like that too. I like the second shift kind of stuff. So, all right. So I just did that with the little V tool. So we're going to take my knife and we're going to follow that line a little bit more. And we're just going to chop the little corner out there. Same here. We're going to just follow it. Whoops. I don't have my glasses on, so. A break for my warm chocolate now. Oh, that's so good. All right, so we're going to go back here. We're going to cut that out one more time. Give it a little bit more depth to it. And then we're going to follow the line around for the foot. We're going to just trim that off a little bit. Not by much. We want a little bit there yet. But, we'll be doing some Santas in a little while as well. and maybe a couple of snowmen and things like that. Something a little different, probably in the 3.5-inch size. So now we're gonna, how I did this was very simple. All I did was made a small little loop here. So his hands are joining. Now this one here is up a little higher. Now you can notice on this one, you can put the hat a tiny bit higher. It's different. That's up to you. I like it down at the bottom. It just makes it a little easier to paint, and it makes it a little easier for the last part of carving as well. So that's the way I like to do it. So I'm going to measure that with my finger, and we're going to put that there. All right. And we're going to just chop that little piece out right there. Okay, and I'm deepening this a little bit more just to give it a little more shape. We're just digging out from underneath so his nose is more prominent. Alright, so now we're going to take the V tool and we're going to follow this line right around to the corner, right, just like so. The hands are not difficult to do, and I told people in the last video, if you have a problem working on something, if you really are hung up with doing an eye or a nose, just take a blank, an extra scrap piece of wood, and just practice. That's the only way, really, you're going to learn how to do it and do it right, or do it to your satisfaction. So, okay, I'm going to take this up to the foot here. We're going to cut that out. See, all this rough stuff has to come off, so I'm going to start ripping that stuff off here. Otherwise, that will show up. Especially if you do white, it doesn't show up as much. But if you do dark colors, yes, that will show up for sure. Now I'm going to just round this off a little bit. There's a little bit of a knot in that. You can't always see this basswood if it has a little knot in it or not, but that won't hurt us at all because it will be painted over anyway. Alright, so I didn't post this because I just got this done like a half hour before we got online. I finally got it done and hurried it up and antiqued it. I think I started that at 5:30 or something and finally got it done around 7. Those two. Okay, so I'm just chopping out around. Okay, so now what you want to do here is from here you're just going to put a little line out like so. Okay, as long as you want. If you want it closer to the nose, that's up to you. And then you're going to come down and around and you're going to put another line up. And I usually like to do a little rounded edge there. Okay, then the flag is fairly simple. All I do is go from the corner here and I bring it up. And you can have it like a waving flag if you want, you know, and you can have it like so. And then I put that in there, and then there's a line that I put there, and I put under here. So you want to make sure that you have red, white, and like an extra line in here. So I don't have that in there yet, but I will have that designed so you have red, and white. So you actually need 5. So you need so that red ends up on the top and on the bottom. So if you have red, white, red, then you have red on the top, red on the bottom. So you'll have five stripes on it. Okay, that's the secret to that. So because it's not going to look right if the bottom one's going to be white, you won't be able to distinguish that. So I might just bring this out further. I'll do this later on so I understand it a little bit better. I can sit here and kind of count that out. But I'm just sharing that with you because I had that problem before where it didn't come out right. So if you want, you can use your V tool or you use your regular knife, but a V-tool is a little bit easier, and just go up and around, and then I'll come down this way to the hand, right up to the hands there, and then we'll make another line just like so. All right. I'm going to make that flag a little longer. I'm going to erase that eventually and redo that. We're going to make that a little bit longer because we have some room here, so we can fuss with it a little bit here. Okay. So you can make that any size you want actually, but that's up to you. Then once you do that, you want to take your knife and you kind of want to follow the outline. Okay. And you're going to just slowly, oh so slowly, just kind of make that flag stick out a little bit. Alright, so now we're going to come up this way, and we're going to slice that out a little bit. There we go. I'm going to go this way. Make that come out a little bit more. And then you can shape it a little bit better. You can do this all with a knife too. You don't have to do it with the V-tool if you don't want to. V-tool is very optional, but I found it very handy over the years for different things. Okay. Then I have that little V cut right there, and I'm going to put the flag like right underneath it. Okay. Just like so. So it looks like it's all sticking out. That's what you want. Alright, so that's not real difficult to do. The hat, you want to just kind of trim this out a little bit. You want to take the corners off of each one. Just round them off a little bit. Alright. And I'll probably bring this in a little bit more yet, just to reshape that hat a little bit more when I get offline. But the foot, let's start with the back. The back needs to be rounded off, so we're going to take that edge off the bottom. Take all that rough stuff off. Bring it up underneath a little bit more and just chop that out. Alright. If you have any ideas of what you'd like to see carved, just send me a message or put it on my page, and I'll see if I can accommodate. Can't do everything everybody asks, but I can certainly see if it's in my ability to do so. All right, and the shoe, we just kind of trim off the bottoms here, and we just round them up a little bit. Pretty well all we do with that. Alright, whoops. And then the hat, I actually start trimming off the hard edges or the square edges off the hat. This will be up on YouTube later, so if you've missed anything, it will be up there for you. And about an hour after I'm done here, if everything goes as planned, so, you know. Again, we're going to take all that rough stuff off eventually. Alright, so there's one foot. Oh, the hand. What we want to do there, we just want to make a little bit of a curvature there. We're going to just trim this out. Okay, you can do this either with a knife or you can do it with a V-tool. Either way. And then we're going to take the V-tool. You always start in the center. and then put 2 lines on either side. So 1, 2, and 3. Alright, so that will be his little fingers. If I can bring this out a little bit more. Alright, that's not my best job on doing that, but I don't know if that knot had something to do with it there, but let me see if I can get a better grasp with that. There we go. Let me just trim that down just a tiny bit. Alright, so that looks like the hand going over, hanging onto that flag. This is part of the hand here, so when you paint it, you make sure that you do a tone color for it. Alright. Now here comes the fun part, is putting in the beard. I'm going to go 1 foot, and then we'll start. I'll do a couple things to the hat yet, and then we'll be almost done with this. And like I said, you can do these gnomes any way you want. If you want to just leave the traditional hat on the critters, you can do that. It's up to you. There's all kinds of different patterns you can do to do the hat. I just did it this way. This was my own idea to do it this way. Or you could put, you could switch it. I'm sorry, you can switch it around. You could probably put this portion down here and then put all stars around his head. It's whatever you feel comfortable doing. And I'll share with you how I make the stars. I paint those on there freehand, and it's very simple. If I have a paper and pen here, I'll show you, or a pencil, and I do. I'll show you how I do that. It's very, very easy. It's just having a steady hand to do it. Okay, so that's all done. Alright, so now I'm going to round his nose up a little bit more, take off the hard edges, take off the rough stuff that we talked about. Okay. Alright. I'll be fussing with him a little bit more before I paint him, because I can't always see everything from where I'm working. So, now, the V-tool. The first thing you want to do on the hat, and I'm going to draw it on because it's just safer that way. I'm just going to draw a bit of a band. It's a little smaller at the top because the hat's tilted up. And then I bring it back down, make it a little wider at the bottom here. All I do is take my V-tool and I follow that all the way around. Yeah, I didn't advertise or put the event thing up because I didn't have these guys done until tonight. And when I did, I just took a picture of it and put it on for people to see what we were going to work on. So you see that this is going to look a little different because what we want to do is tuck this under. So what you want to do is just take your knife and just slowly go around the top part of it and take off that little V-cut. See how it looks like it's tucked underneath when you do that? That's what you want to do. Alright. Someone asked if I was going to have classes in the fall. I don't know yet. Here at the farm. I'm not sure how all that's going to pan out. It's easier if you can cut this first, folks. But you're always welcome to ask. We'll see how things progress in a couple months. And I usually have my carving classes start in September or in October. Right before, usually up until maybe a week or so before our Thanksgiving here in the States. It's just a little I find that that's a good time between the end of September. People are pretty well set in their ways. See how I have it tucked underneath? I'm going to cut that out a little bit more. And the last but least is putting his beard in. It's fairly simple. We're just going to go up here and we're going to start notching away here. You want to just be careful you don't push too much into the hat if you can help it. And it's really delicate here, right where the flag is. I actually have an extra one of these. I'll probably sell one of these in the next few weeks. I had some people buying stuff. I'm half of my inventory has been gone since I started this. Not that I'm complaining, it's just I haven't had time to replenish it. I always work on the outside towards the feet and the hat, and then I fill the in-between stuff. Now, you notice that didn't come apart there, so I'm just going to try to get it out there with a knife. And then I'd go from that, like I'll start here with the hat. And then I'll do the bottom part. And, you know, that's how I do it. And now I'll work towards the flag here very carefully that I don't knock anything out. And then in between here, you just want to make a couple of strokes there. There we go. And just lightly, very lightly towards. If your tool is nice and sharp, you don't have to put a lot of pressure behind it for it to work. Okay. And then if you have a couple spots here and there, you just go ahead and fill those in. Now I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going to work towards the foot. Again, towards the foot. Work towards the foot here, and then we'll do everything in between, and then we'll be done with it. Not bad. I'm looking at the time, it's not too bad. Some are bigger than others, it all depends. You do smaller, bigger, and just mix them up. It's good. Everybody has their own style of doing these, the beard and stuff. So let's just get this done here. I don't have it actually done the whole thing. Let's see. Alright, that looks pretty good. Take a look at this. And right here, a little more here. Alright. And there's our patriotic gnome. And if you want to do a regular hat critter, you can. That's up to you. Alright. I want to show you something real quick. There's the Easter one, St. Patty's, and Valentine's Day. So those are the critters we've got done so far. And we'll have a couple more for the holidays coming up. And I'll show you this knife that I just got. I got two. This one's a little smaller than this one here. You see, that's definitely smaller. I didn't know. I just bought it. I'm going to cut it around here and trim this down. I'll trim that. It's a nice little detailed knife. And then the Barlow knife that I talked about, they're really nice. They have one big blade and they have a small blade, and that's the blade I used a lot to carve with years ago. Isn't that a beautiful knife? That's a beautiful knife. I love these Rough Rider knives. They really have some nice styles to them. So I'm eager to get this one sharpened to the way I like it. They really have a thin blade on it, so I don't need to take too much off of it. But it will be very, very nice, and I'll leave this one alone. I don't think I'm going to sharpen that one. But look how nice that is. Just nice, and it has a nice feel in your hands as well. So anyway, and I'm not selling those two. I'm just selling this one and the larger one. And I have a bunch of those back in. So if you're interested, I do have plenty of them on hand. All right, folks, thanks so much. Yeah, the critters are fun. Jack, thank you for joining everybody. And I don't know when I'll be back. I'm hoping sometime in mid-June or late June we'll start on Santa or so. Okay, I'll keep you informed. Take care. Bye-bye.